Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing our weekly review for the second last episode of the first season of the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon spin-off series. This one is called Deux Amours. Alright dudes, and spoiler warning if you've not seen this episode yet for The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon spin-off series season 1 episode 5. This is now the second last episode of the first season. We got one episode left. The season finale for the first season has been renewed for a second season already. So we do know that we're going to be getting to see more of Daryl Dixon in the future. Whether or not it's in France or maybe if they end up elsewhere, I guess we'll have to see. I'd be okay with it in the second season if they ended up in like a different, on the run, maybe in a different country or something, and we got to see them, season 2 in like another country in Europe or somewhere, or the UK or something. Like, it'd just be cool if they just kind of ended up somewhere else. I don't know if you'd want to do more than one seasons in France, but they have set up Genet as a good villain, I think. So kind of head leader, a villain type of thing for France. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. You guys can leave comments below, and if you think we'll see second season also in France, or if they'll switch it and have them kind of escape narrowly and have to escape to a different place in Europe, which would be cool to kind of see a tour of nations, something like that in The Walking Dead. So this episode is loaded. I realize these episodes are longer than what we're used to for Walking Dead. So even though the first season of Daryl Dixon is technically 6 episodes, because the episodes are so long, they're almost like an episode and a half, almost. You're almost actually looking at more like 8 or 9 episodes. Let's say 8 episodes for the first season, which is a good amount of runtime for the first season of the Daryl Dixon spinoff series. This might be the best episode they've done yet for Daryl. I'm going to give it a perfect 10 out of 10. I'll get that out of the way right away. It's an amazing episode. It's a payoff episode for, I think, the viewer for watching the show. There are a few parts here and there of Daryl where it could be a little bit kind of, maybe, I don't want to say boring, but it tends to be a little bit drawn out at certain parts of the first season. But the quality is top-notch. It's just that the episodes are 60 minutes. They're longer than we're used to. And you do get some kind of slower parts here and there with Laurent and Isabel Quinn and, some of the others that are not the most exciting stuff at certain parts. But that said, I think the first season, turned out great. Even if this was the first season's finale, really impressed with how good they were able to make this series, knowing that you basically have Daryl coming from The Walking Dead's ending, going out there looking for Rick. He ends up in Maine. We finally get to see sort of some of the surrounding circumstances that brought him to France, or somehow him ending up here, and how this whole thing happened. We get, spoiler warning, sort of a cameo from Carol. At least he talks to her on the radio, and she says that someone came back, but we can't hear who. Of course, this will lead people to want to think, is it Rick? Did Rick come back? Did Rick return? But we don't know from the episode, so I can hear the fan theory starting already, right? I don't think it is. I think it's somebody else, but we'll see what they end up doing with that later on. I do think Carol might be in the second season of Daryl, so that'll be cool to actually get to see Melissa McBride return and reprise her role instead of just via radio. It's better than nothing, though, and it was really cool. It was good to get to see the parts in Maine and kind of what Daryl ends up doing there. He's kind of capturing walkers along with some of the other guys that are there, and some of the guys are not very good guys. They're kind of seem like quite scumbags, quite nasty fellows, but they're capturing walkers, kind of loading them up, possibly giving them to this French faction, somewhere along the line here, some of them ending up in carriers and then ending up there. And Daryl's awesome at it. He's like putting things in their mouths, like steaks, like vampire steaks or something. Putting steaks in their mouths so that the walkers can't bite, and then capturing them all so they're kind of harmless somewhat, and bringing them in. And it is really cool to see, back in America, because that's something we were waiting to see all season. How did he end up here? What happened? We sort of get some idea in this episode, somewhat anyway. And the Carol radio thing is really great to make it really feel like it's still Walking Dead. He also mentions to Laurent, he mentions He mentions RJ, he mentions Judith, he mentions Carol and some of the others. So it's really cool to see Laurent do a prayer for them and all that. Calls him a lone wolf and everything, which is really cool. It's just, I think everything they did in this episode was great. It was all really good, and it really made it feel like it's the same universe when you have characters in Daryl Dixon referring to RJ or Judith, even just saying their names, even though they haven't met them. It just kind of makes it feel more cohesive. It makes it feel like it's the same universe, and these characters that Daryl's meeting do exist in the same reality as RJ, Judith, and the others. If they mention, even if just they mention their names in a prayer, that connects it together better. And it does make me think that maybe if Daryl does make it back to the U.S., maybe he'll bring Isabel and Laurent with him, almost like maybe a French Carl. Don't rip my head off, right? It's like he's got the hair and stuff. It's like it's a French. He's the chosen one. It's a French Carl. So don't get mad at me. I'm just kidding. It's a great episode. You get to see some awesome zombies in it too. They're like feeding people to zombies, and Daryl, of course, breaks out of it. And like this prison he goes to, I'm going to leave stuff out because this episode is so packed, right? They get captured by Genet. Even Quinn gets captured, and because the girl he was with sells him out, of course. Hell hath no fury, like woman scorned, because he's with Isabel and stuff. So she's going to do what she's. That's just easily predictable, right? Easily predictable. Quinn gets in trouble. They're all kind of thrown in prison. And then we get some super zombies. Oh, awesome. It's like a zombie sprinkles on top. You have an awesome episode to start with. And then we get to see Daryl in like a gladiator match. They throw him like some kind of axe or something. Or what is that? It's a halberd? Is that what it's called? Something like that. And he's going, and then there's this super zombie that's got like a mask on, and they like shoot a thing into it to like pump it with, I don't know, adrenaline or steroids or something. And then takes off its mask and it like attacks him, right? And that's the episode ends. Cliffhanger. We know Daryl's going to fight his way out of it, of course. But it's awesome. There's another super zombie that kills the one scumbag guy who was in Maine with him. And it's just like running around. It's like inspired. You can obviously tell, I think this is inspired by 28 Days Later, but it just works. It just works. It just takes Walking Dead to the next level. And because then you get some zombies in here. You get like the regulars. You get the smart zombies. You get the boiler zombies that are burning everything up. And now we get like these super blitz zombies. They're German zombies. No, okay. Exactly. But these blitzer zombies where they're like all, juiced up and shot with whatever rage stuff, 28 Days Later style, and then they're going at people and they're just ripping people apart. Even one of them is like 10 of the regular, So it's freaking awesome. You do get the part where Laurent cuts the boat loose because he's afraid to let Daryl go. He doesn't want to do it, so he kind of screws him over and gets everybody sort of caught. And then like leaves his stuff there, like the Rubik's Cube and the other stuff. So it's like, oh, this kid is kind of useless in a way, but I also like how Genet is not buying his origin story of his, because it's almost like a religious beginning, right? Like this is how religions get started, right? With Laurent, where he's kind of like born of a zombie birth, I guess zombie mom birth. This is working on. I don't know how this works exactly. She's just not buying it, even though like from what we saw, it looks to be true, right? But she's just not buying it at all, and he's like this chosen one and whatever, what have you. So maybe like a Christ-like figure or something like that. We also have the guy who talks about Christianity with Daryl, and Daryl basically is not religious at all, which I think we all sort of expected and understood that to be the case with him. And I don't know, dudes. I mean, I'm probably leaving stuff out, but it's an awesome episode. If you haven't seen it, you gotta check it out. Even if you skip maybe some of the earlier episodes in Daryl Dixon, I think episode 1 you gotta see. Obviously, you could start things up. You gotta see episode 2, and then I don't know. I mean, maybe you could skip a few in the middle. But episode 5, don't sleep on episode 5. Don't sleep on this one. This one is sick. This one is a 10 out of 10. It has Walking Dead OG Daryl. It has 28 Days Later style zombies. It has a mix of different zombies. It feels natural. It has a pretty good bad guy with Genet, who might be like a female Hitler or something, because she seems kind of nationalistic in terms of France. So they got awesome villain there. And who came back? You got the Easter egg with Carol. You got everything, dudes. It killing it. Killing it. I still have this. I gotta take this. I gotta switch this out at some point. At some point, this is gonna get old. But for now, Daryl's killing it. You know what it is. Thumb the video up before you leave. Subscribe at the bottom before you leave. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Season 2 predictions. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you again soon for the video. Trev, same peace. There, guys. See ya.